Hey guys, this is my second Mirage update video. In this video, you're going to see the final result for the paint work that was done in the engine bay, as well as the polishing that I did on the top of the firewall. And while I'm talking about that, the firewall turned out really nice, but it wasn't without having to re-clear it. When I originally cleared the firewall, it was when I did the paint job. I had some orange peel that I didn't like, and I had originally tried to sand it out and then polish it, and I wasn't getting good results with the polish, so I just decided to re-clear it with the better clear coat that I had used on my Evo. So I sanded it all back down, I re-cleared it, and then I had some runs in it. So I had to go back and I had to re-sand the second clear coat that I did to get the runs out, and then I had to re-polish that. Luckily, I was able to get it polished out and it looks nice now, but it was a lot of work and it took me a while to do. So this video, you're also going to see the progress that I've made getting the engine bay components back in, and there's some of the stuff I didn't put back in. There's some extra brackets and things like that around the engine bay that I haven't put back in quite yet because I want to go ahead and get the engine and the transmission in, which should happen hopefully in the next week or so. And then, you know, if I need to put the brackets or, you know, the little tabs and bits of metal that I really don't think need to be there, if I need to put them back in, I'll be able to after the fact. But and I'm also going to keep the fenders off for now. I just want to keep those off because I might wind up painting the car before I finish getting it running. So anyway, I hope you enjoy the video. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to comment. I'm also on the 4G61T board. You guys can ask there. Thanks. Alright, so I completed step one on this polishing. It actually turned out pretty good. I got everything sanded out. You can barely see that there used to be a run here. Like, just barely, like right there, right there, a little bit up here. I guess what I did when I was painting, I had too much clear coat coming out of the gun. There's a little knob to adjust that, and I thought I had adjusted it, but it turned out to really just have way too much coming out. So anyway, so this is a spot that had a pretty good run in it, and there's no sign of that run. I blocked it out. What there is though, I guess my fatal error on this, of course the vent plate sits right here, so I'm not too worried about this spot. So I think the vent plate probably comes up to about right here. Anyway, the fatal flaw was using 800 grit sandpaper and then stepping up to 1500. I think what I probably should have done was started with 1500 and never started with the coarser grit, because it's hard to get all the 800. It's hard to get all the 800 scratches out of it. Let's see. You can't really tell if there's anything up here. There's like a little dark line right here. That's actually base coat that I smoothed out before I cleared it originally. And yeah, so it looks good. Again, I've only done the first polish, which is this stuff right here. Nope, that's not it. That's the final polish. This right here, this rubbing compound. It's supposed to take out 1200 grit scratches, and then after you get all the scratches out, you move up to this right there. Actually, after just this one step, it's acceptable. I'm happy with it now, and I haven't even started polishing. Hey, buddy. I haven't even started really polishing. The rubbing compound is just basically fine sandpaper. And that's the pad I was using. It's hooked up to my drill. And then of course I got a black pad. I got a black pad for it for this stuff. The scratch remover is the final polish for this kit. I think there's a third step that you can get, but man, I think that stuff's like 30 bucks a bottle at AutoZone or O'Reilly's. And I'm not going to spend 30 bucks for a bottle of polish to do the top of this firewall. That scratch remover is going to polish it up to a nice shine, and I'm going to leave it there.
Okay.
Alright, I got the firewall finished up. I think I will go back and touch up a couple little spots where it's just not quite as shiny as the rest of it. But all the other spots, like that area right there and this area over here, are perfectly polished. I mean, I think it's as good as it's going to get. It looks just as glossy as the rest of the paint that hasn't been, hasn't been touched. So yeah, this is it. I am done. It looks 1,000 times better than it did with the runs in it. You can't tell. I honestly, just from a couple inches away, I can't even tell that there's ever been any runs in it. Maybe just a little bit over here. But for the most part, that's gone, and there was a big run right over here, that's gone. And it's all glossed up and polished. There are a little bit of sand scratches in it. I'm really not worried about that. Again, you have to be right up on it to see the sand scratches. And that's just, again, from using 800 grit and then stepping up to 1500 grit and not spending enough time with the 1500 grit to get all the sanding scratches out. Maybe I should have gone from like maybe 800 grit to 1,000 and then to 1500. I think next time, which again, this is the whole experience for me. I mean, this is almost a free car, and as much as I'm gonna, build it, this was really a learning experience for me, and I've learned so much from painting this engine bay. I mean, I re-clear coated the wing for the Evo, and it looks awesome. I actually re-cleared the trunk on the Evo too, and that looks good. So I did a really good job. I'm happy with it. I made all my mistakes on the Mirage, which is great. So this really marks the end of my paint work for a while. I am done with painting and clear coating and sanding things down and re-clear coating. Next up, I'm going to start digging in those boxes over there. That disorganized looking mess, and I'm going to start putting all the stuff that was in this engine bay is going to go back in it, and then of course the engine over there is going to get dropped back in, and that's pretty much it. about making a two-piece harness so I could put the cannon plug over there on the firewall. So that's why that's laid out. I got the chassis harness run right here on the side. This boot right here is so old and dry rotted, and I'm not really sure how to fix that. I might just get some kind of silicone. I really don't want to go that route, but if you guys know of a better idea, I'm all ears. But I got the chassis harness run for the most part. There's still a couple little locations I need to just make sure that that I verify. I had a problem here. This little plastic piece is basically just old and rotting away. So what I did is I used zip ties and wrapped it around. Usually there's some there's like those little plastic clips that are part of the wiring harness that should push up through a hole down there, and they're broken. The wiring harness over here still needs to be attached. I'm just not really sure which hole to stick the clip in right now, but as soon as I go back through my pictures, when I disassembled it, I'll fix that up. Got the RSX harness mounted, got all this stuff, got brake lines run, just like how they're supposed to be. I've got the power steering in. The shifter cables, shout out to Mitsubishi Kid for that. He sent those cables to me. I believe they're out of an Elantra, a 1.6 Elantra, but I'm not sure that they're going to work in this chassis. I know for sure that the bracket that's supposed to bolt in on the other side of the firewall, that doesn't fit. And I might be able to make a little metal plate. That's not going to be a big deal to me. But I'm worried about the cable length. So I'm going to give them a shot. They may or may not work. And then after that, let's see. Engine and transmission, I need to go ahead and get those back in the car. That's a RSX Type S brake booster, by the way. I think I posted somewhere about that. But got the data plate looking good. Firewall's looking good. Got the seal. This seal right here. I'm not going to put the fenders on right now. I'm thinking hard about leaving the fenders off, because I might wind up painting the whole car. If it stays warm, I'm down here in Alabama, so I might be able to paint in December, so I don't know. But I still got to patch a couple holes on the roof, but yeah, I need to get the engine in this thing real quick, make some space in the garage, and you know, then I'm going to drop the drop all the suspension out on the sides here, tape off the rack and pinion, tape everything off. I'm going to redo the fender wells to the wheel wells and get that done. So anyway, that is the progress for the weekend, and I'm getting excited because I should be able to put a engine in it pretty soon here.